What's on guys, we're back with a brand new video, and before we do get into this AFL tips video, make sure you go down below into either the description or the pinned comment and join my tipping competition. Now you're probably thinking, we're 3 rounds in, why would I join now? Well, if you already tip on the ESPN footy tipping app, as soon as you join my tipping comp, your tips from all your other competitions that you're in carry over to my comp. So say you're on about 12 or 15 right now. You'll have 12 or 15 in my tipping comp, and I still haven't decided the prize that people will be getting if they win, but yeah, make sure you go down below and join it. So what's on guys, welcome to the YouTube channel. I'm going to be doing the weekly tips video. Now, if you did not watch the recap of round 2, they did come out about 8 o'clock on Tuesday instead of the 4 PM on the Monday, so make sure you go and check that out. And before we get into this video, make sure to drop a like and a subscribe, because we're on the road to 600 subscribers. Before we do get into my tips, this is the leaderboard for the top 5 for my tipping comp. Now I currently sit at 6th position, so just outside the top 5, but shout out to everyone that is leading and playing along in the tipping comp so far, so make sure you get involved. Alright, so my first tip is going to be Pies defeat Lions by 3 points. Now originally when I put my tips in, I did not think that Collingwood were going to beat Brisbane. Brisbane coming off 2 straight losses, they're going to want to bounce back, they're playing at the Gabba, but then during the week, we all know the situation going on in the world, and they end up changing the game to Marvel Stadium, and Brisbane are not allowed to back into their homes. They've been stranded in Melbourne, going from different ovals to train. They've been in different hotels, so I feel like they'll play on their heads. They won't be prepared. They've lost the Big O, so Grundy will have an absolute day out. Even though the Pies did lose Elliott, but they did bring in an experienced Chris Mayne, so I do expect him to get the job done. And I will be attending this game, so hopefully it's a cracker, because every time I go to 2 teams I'm not supporting for a game, I always want it to be an absolute cracker of a match. Next up is Dogs versus the Roos, and I picked the Dogs to get the job done by 46 points. Now this is an afternoon game on a Friday, so this is a different type, but they always do this classic Good Friday match, good cause. I hope North put on a better fight than this, but I really think the Dogs just seem too good early on this season, and the Roos have looked very, very bad so far, easily look like the worst team in the competition. So I think that Dogs will get the job done by 46, not much to think about this. Next up is Crows versus Suns, and I picked the Crows to get the job done by 16 points. Tex is in absolute ripping form. I've been loving what Texan has been doing lately. His ability to work this new stand the marker to get the most distance on his kicks. He's hit 11 in 2 games, and Tex looks like the most informed forward in the competition. And you don't know if he keeps this up for the whole season. He's on track to kick 100 goals for the first time since Buddy Franklin in 2008. So I hope, for the sake of Texan, he gets this done. Texan went from being the most hated footballer in the competition to the most loved, just off a few great games of form. And I reckon he could get the job done on a Gold Coast defender. Charlie Ballard, that's very young, could get the job on him. Or someone like a Sam Collins, which might be harder for Tex to get off the leash against him. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. Next up is Tigers versus Swans, and I predict the Tigers get the job done by 17 points. Now, I reckon just at the SCG, I would almost tip Swans to get the job done. The way they're playing, Buddy Franklin's back, and I reckon Swans, by the looks of it, definitely look like a top 8 team in 2021. And I love their list: Earl Goldwyn, Braden Campbell, Logan McDonald, all the young talent they've got down there. Then they've got Tom McCartan, Dean Rampy down back. But I feel like they'll fight to the very end, but Tigers always have that last quarter where they burst away from their opponents. And Dusty's in 2017 form. He's actually trying in the regular season for once. So, another 3-vote Dusty game, I would not be surprised. Next up is Saints versus the Dons, and I predict the Saints will get the job done by 57 points. This is the biggest margin I've actually placed on the game, and I just feel like that Saints will be so disappointed in how they played against the Demons. Everyone, for some reason, they just all got written off. Everything I've seen in the media, they reckon that Saints have been overhyped. They've been all this stuff, and I'm just sitting there like, so they played one bad game and they've written them off for anything close to being contenders this year. When Brisbane have lost back-to-back games and they still think that they're one of the best teams in the competition. I fully believe that Brisbane are one of the best teams in the competition, but it can't be you think this about another team when another team's performing worse. But either way, Saints should get the job done. Maybe not by 57 points, but I'm predicting a big margin simply because I just want them to smash them because they need to get some confidence back into this group. Essendon have a lot of injuries coming through. Next up, I predict that the Power defeat the Eagles by 11 points. Now this game actually is at Optus Stadium, but I do feel like that Port are too in form, and I feel like that Eagles are not as good as people think they'll be this year. I feel like they could be another team that could fall out of the top 8. They've got the job done against Gold Coast. They lost against Bulldogs last week. I just feel like that they're not on that top 4 level they have been in the past. And Port seem to have a pretty good record when they head over to Optus Stadium. So I predicted they get the job done by 11 points. Next up, I predicted the Blues get the job done on Freo by 8 points. Now this is a very, very danger game for Carlton. Because if they lose this game, it almost writes them off for finals. Like, it'll make it extremely hard for the Blues to make it back from here. This is a game, if they want to be a top 8 side in 2021, they've got to have to knock off Fremantle here. They're currently 0-2. If they had 0-3, you can almost write the season off for the Blues. They have a lot of pressure on them. The Carlton fans are absolutely outraged. They've lost Zach Fish and Jack Martin. Paddy Cripps doesn't look like he wants to be there. There's some injury rumours around him. This is the year that they need to beat Fremantle. Even though they have a pretty good record against Fremantle. It's not just about Fremantle, it's about getting the job done and setting their season up from here. Next up is Giants versus the D's, and I predict the D's get the job done on the Giants by 15 points. I feel like that it's, even though it is at Giants Stadium, I feel like the Giants have looked absolutely horrendous. This could be the game where Giants finally bounce back after having a very, very poor first losses in their first 2 games. But I feel like that they could definitely bounce back. They have the talent. But I feel like the D's have all the confidence in the world. They don't have their big prize forwards in Ben Brown and Wiedemann, and they're still getting the job done on the scoreboard. So they have too much confidence. Giants look like they lack confidence, so they get the job done. Next up is Cats versus Hawks, and I predict the Cats get the job done on Easter Monday by 23 points. Now I feel like this will be closer than most people think. Most people, have Cats near the top and the Hawks near the bottom, but I feel like the young backline of CJ, Wilday's injured, but Scrimshaw's coming in. That's very promising, and they can get the job. Not once they get the job done, but they can put a big fight up against the dangerless and Jeremy Cameron-less forward line. Get the rebounding. Tom Mitchell looks like he's back in his ball-winning form. Kaczynski's actually hit the scoreboard for the first time in his career last week, which I feel like will just set up his season to have another stellar game. So I predict them to get the job done by 23 points. Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure to drop a like and a subscribe, and we're on the road to 600 subscribers.